Hello, everyone. This is Letao, your astrologist and your spiritual counselor. Thank you very much for joining another video with me. Today, we're gonna do a little bit, reading, and also I have a very special guest to introduce to you guys. Lisa, we have Lisa here, who is the author of Practical Tarot, and actually both of us, work with the same publisher, Beyond Words Publishing, and so yeah, welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. I have been looking forward to this because I think that it is so cool that we're pulling cards from different sides of the world. It's like we're going around the world with our tarot and oracle cards. I just love it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look forward to it. Yeah. So Lisa, could you please tell our audience a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what kind of things you have created so far?
Yes, yes. So I have been an author, full-time author since 2012 now. I've published mostly fiction, but in all that time, for over 20 years, I've been reading tarot cards, teaching tarot. It's always been on the side.
Yeah.
But the universe kept nudging me, and my writer friends were doing Kickstarters, and I just felt like, I would love to have my own deck. And so I did a Kickstarter and it funded. And then I designed the cards with my artist, Holly Carton.
Yeah.
And we came up with the Practical Tarot. And it was so beautiful that I didn't want it to be over with the Kickstarter. So I shopped it around to publishers. And I was so excited that Beyond Words loved it just as much as I do. They did such a great job.
Yeah,
And
absolutely,
so it's available everywhere now. It's been really thrilling.
Absolutely, yeah. So I just want to tell our audience, I also got Lisa's deck a few weeks ago, and I've been using it. Basically, I've never created tarot in the past. I've always been using the oracle cards most of the times. But the only tarot deck that I've had a lot of experience with is the Rider-Waite, and the traditional.
Right. Traditional,
tarot.
yeah.
Yeah. But when I was using your deck, I found a lot of interesting things in them, the imagery,
Yes.
the uniqueness, right, about this deck. And so I think this is amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about your inspiration? Like when you created this deck, what kind of message would you like to convey to the audience? Yeah.
Yeah, so I started when I got out of high school. I got a Rider-Waite deck, and I did not resonate with that deck. I could not read it. It was full of angry men. I just was like, why are they all so mad? And
Yeah.
I couldn't memorize it, but I loved tarot and I wanted to be good at it. So I collected decks, and when I finally started resonating with them, I realized that a lot of it is your intuitive knowing, and if there are no cards on there that you can relate to with your life experience, it's very difficult to give an intuitive reading. You reach for that guidebook and you start trying to memorize.
Yeah.
And when COVID hit, it changed my tarot business because I used to read in stores and they were closed. So I had to learn to use Zoom. And then I started to get tarot clients from all over the world. And I started to notice doing these readings that, wow, tarot seems to be very white. And I was like, I wish I had a deck where at least one card in there looked like who I was reading for, so they could go, hey, there I am, So when I decided to do the Kickstarter, when I was looking for an artist, Holly and I really clicked because I told her, she didn't know anything about tarot, but I told her we need 78 cards and I want them to be diverse. I want them to be inclusive. I want old, young, big, little. I want all shapes of people, because I want everybody to be able to find at least one card where they go, hey, there's me. And she was very behind that 100%. So we had so much fun creating it. And the reason I call it Practical Tarot is because I want it to be like a handy tool that people use for practical things. It doesn't have to be, for a big dilemma or a party or something like that. It can be just an everyday tool that you use. And so I didn't want it to be, I have some great fantastical decks with dragons and all kinds of stuff, but I wanted this to be more like a practical tool you can use with enough imagery that your intuition will guide you more than the book.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I realize that you're very right about that. I think, a lot of tarot decks are like dragons or, I don't know,
Hmm.
mermaids and things like that, right? And
Yes,
so,
yes.
yeah, I mean, they're
Hmm.
beautiful. They're very,
They are.
fantastic, but it's a little bit far-fetched, right? It's a bit like, okay, that's dragon, but I'm a human.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. It's very funny because you just reminded me a recent reading that I did with a female client, and we were using Rider-Waite tarot,
Hmm.
and she
Yes.
pulled out the Queen of Cups. And
Hmm.
I said, what do you see on this image? And she said, well, this woman looks like she's moody. And I said, well, that's not what the card is trying to tell you. I don't, well, Queen of Cups can be moody if it's
She
coming
can
out.
be. She
Yeah,
can be
coming.
moody.
But because of the image, right? And she's a little bit
Right.
frowning, whatever. Maybe it was just a
Yes.
printing. And she was
Hmm.
like, I'm not sure I like it. And I was like, okay, well, let's go into the actual meaning of this card, right? So
Right.
yeah, so I get it, right? We want to resonate with the imagery of the
Exactly,
cards. Yeah.
exactly. I think it makes it easier for tarot to be intuitive if
Yeah.
you can relate to
Mm.
the images on the cards.
Yeah, yeah. So have you tried my Oracle of the Mythic Heroes?
Yes, yes, I have. So, everyone, here's the box for the Mythic Heroes, and you actually have two decks with Beyond Words, and this was the one I was hoping they would send me. They did.
Yeah,
The other one happened to be out of stock, so
yeah,
good on
yeah.
you. But I, but but I love this deck so much, and I did have questions for you though
Oh,
because I have a lot of Oracle decks. I have never
mm.
had an Oracle deck that's so closely tied with astrology.
Uh-huh.
And so I was interested when you were making this, you actually designate like three cards for each sign.
Correct. Yeah.
And so I was wondering when you read with these and you pull cards that are for a different sign than your own, what does that tell you? Like if someone's pulling for themselves, does
Mm,
that
mm.
mean, there's a little bit of Pisces in you or
Ah, I
what
see.
kind of messages do they
R
get?
Right, yeah. So, in traditional astrology, right? I mean, a lot of astrologers in the ancient days they would divide the 12 zodiac signs into 36 decans, and even back in the Hermetic order of the Golden Dawn, they created their own rule about the rulerships of each decan, and the 36 heroes and heroines that I've chosen to assign them to the 36 decans was based on the stories that I feel that could most resonate with us. The archetypes, the 36 different archetypes, plus the four of new moon, full moon creatures. Well, of course, right? Let's say, if you know that you're, I don't know, maybe you are Pisces and you're based on your birth, you can go to your chapter and read that. But of course, astrology is a very complicated study. You are
Right.
not just your sun sign, right? Let's say
Mm-hmm.
maybe
Right.
let's say you are associating let's say your birthday is maybe February I don't know, the 25, right? And then that
Mm-hmm.
would fall into the first decan of Pisces. And in the guidebook, the first decan of Pisces, I think I signed it with love. Was it that correct? The theme of love, I think. I think so, yeah. But so of course there's a message in we can associate with that keyword with the first decan of Pisces, but also you will have a lot of other planets scattered around the astrological wheel. Maybe some of your planets are in Aries, some of your planets are in
Right.
Taurus, right? So based on your astrological chart, you can actually read all these stories, right? At the same time, based on the annual transition of Jupiter and Saturn, there will also be a focus in a specific zodiac sign for you. So it means that you don't really have to have any natal planets in that sign, but within that year, you might feel very strongly pulled towards that energy.
Okay, okay, I see. So, like when I do tarot readings during a Virgo full moon,
Uh,
when I'm pulling those kind of cards, I'm always telling people about Virgo and that you might be pulled in that direction, of being a
Correct. Yeah.
perfectionist
Yeah.
and picking on yourself and all that. This is kind of that same kind of feel. It sounds like so when you pull the cards from the mythic heroes and you
Mm,
pull one out and you go, this one is, for whatever other sign, it could be that you're being influenced by that sign, maybe?
Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe
Okay.
that, yeah, because generally speaking, each astrological house is associated with a sign. Like, for example, people would say, your first house is Aries, your second house is Taurus, and so each one of us, we have all the 12 zodiac signs in us. But depending
Oh,
on,
okay.
yeah, but depending on the transit each year and maybe your solar return, your secondary progression, all these kind of different things, we're going to see a shift of focus into different houses. And so, for example, when you look at an astrologer's YouTube video, they will say, okay, this year Jupiter is in Cancer. Like, for example, this year, on June the 9th, Jupiter is going to transit into Cancer. Now, for me, Cancer maybe is my fifth house, but for you, Lisa, maybe Cancer is your first house, and that
Hmm.
shows the shift of focus in our lives. And this deck has a lot to do with that, with the so-called focus that we need to we will feel or we need to do more, right? In terms of
Okay.
guidance and yeah, a little bit like
And
that.
And if someone, I noticed in your guidebook, there are spreads and things to try. So if
Yeah, yeah.
someone is doing a spread with the cards,
Mm.
do you think that they will grab the meaning from the story of the mythic hero or from the astrological sign? Or
Oh,
should they do both?
absolutely. I think the first thing is to read the stories, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think the initial intention uh, to create this deck was to learn things from myths, from all the ancient stories. And after all, thousands of years, I think we are still learning the same lessons, the
Yes,
same
we are.
way as our ancestors.
History repeats itself.
Absolutely. And we haven't mastered it. We're so far away from it, to be honest, right?
Right.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think understanding the stories is a big part of using this deck. So I would highly recommend this deck to people who like mythology,
Right.
who are interested in storytelling. And
Mm-hmm.
in the guidebook, right, Lisa, I'm sure you saw the first part is the myth, the story, and the second part is the teaching. It's my own interpretation, but I always encourage my audience to interpret the cards in their own way.
Right.
Yeah, I'll give an example. In one of the chapters is Ariadne, and the keyword is curiosity. And of course, based on the guidebook that I've written, that card was about cultivating your curiosity, right? Your resourcefulness, your intelligence, information. But
Mm-hmm.
in the myth, actually, there was one time I was doing a reading for a girl, and she was asking about love, right? She was well, pretty much, abandoned by a guy that she was very much in love with. And that card showed up, and she said, I don't get it, curiosity. So, what am I learning from this card? And I said, well, actually, if you read myth, you will know Ariadne was abandoned by Theseus after the journey to kill to conquer the Minotaur. And Theseus abandoned her on an island called Naxos. But while she was, just in despair, right, and not sure what to do, suddenly she was discovered by Dionysus, the god of wine, and she became a goddess. She married Dionysus. So I said, well, you see, she was abandoned by a mortal, but she married a god later. So some
Right.
right. So I said, what do you think that means? Maybe what you're missing is a blessing in disguise because there's a real soulmate waiting for you later. So
Mm-hmm.
the wrong person have to abandon you for your sake. Sometimes,
Right.
yeah, it's about learning those stories. And
Mm-hmm.
just limit yourself in the interpretation of each deck that I provided. I would encourage
Mm-hmm.
our audience to really, fly freely, right, in their imagination in each story. And I'm sure your intuition will really help
Mm-hmm.
use this deck for your benefit. Mm.
Right. Well, and I love when you're sharing that story that she got the perfect card because I also have a book that I
Uh,
wrote that Beyond Words put out. Let me see. I should have
yeah, yeah,
had it right here handy.
yeah. Show
But
us, show
anyway,
us.
it's the practical tarot method
Ah,
is how
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
read
yeah.
tarot cards intuitively.
Uh,
And the thing is, you always get the card you need. Always.
yeah,
And that is so amazing to me. That is like for me, that is the most magical part of
yeah,
using tarot and oracle cards is the
yeah.
shock of going, oh my gosh, it's always the card you need. And sometimes you don't know exactly what you need it for today.
Yeah.
But I always tell people, you know, just put that on your bulletin board in your brain, because, you know, and then 2 days later they contact me and go, oh my gosh, you won't believe this.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
because
Absolutely.
sometimes they're a little glimpse in the future, but it's really cool to me that you always get the card you need, always.
Yeah.
So
it's I always tell my clients, right? They say, oh, you know, oh wow, you know, your reading is so accurate. And I said, well, but I really think the magic's in you. Right?
yes.
It's your spirit guide guiding you, and I'm just a messenger here for you. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And sometimes I've had people that I teach tarot, and I've had
Ah,
them go, well,
ah,
then does that mean you never get a reading?
ah,
And I always feel like, well, sometimes you're so close to it
ah, ah,
that you take your card and you bend the meaning until
ah.
it's what you want.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's really handy to have an outside person who
Ah,
doesn't have a horse in the race,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you know, who can look at it from outside looking in and go, oh, well, it's this. And then you
yeah.
go, oh my gosh, it is that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so sometimes it's handy to have somebody who's not emotionally attached to the outcome
100%,
be able to
100%.
read those cards for you.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have someone that you always go to have your own cards read?
Well, I have a few psychic friends, and
Oh,
so what
okay.
we'll do is trade,
Yeah,
especially at the beginning of the year.
yeah,
So in
yeah.
December, we all get together and trade year ahead readings and things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, me too. I have a spiritual teacher who
mhm.
trained me in my early days, and sometimes I go to him for my reading because
Oh, nice.
I'm sure like you feel the same. Like it's very difficult for me to read for myself because I get
Yes.
all, you know, like emotionally attached, and you all know we have our subject
Yes.
desire about, you know, what I want to see, you know. So
Right, right. And you can twist that card until you're
correct,
like,
yeah.
yes, it's exactly what I wanted.
100%, right? Yeah.
And meanwhile, your spirit guides and angels are over there shaking their heads.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh,
We're
tell me
trying to
about
get you
that.
this message.
Oh God. So I was thinking maybe today we can pull some cards for our audience, right? And I'm sure a lot of them, you know, they have. Let's just say we're gonna pull cards for your sun sign, moon sign, and the rising sign, right? And in the 12
Okay.
zodiac signs. And I'm thinking maybe for the first six signs, you will pull the first tarot card, and I will pull a card from Oracle of the Mythic Heroes, and I
Okay.
will deliver our message to them. And for the second half, I will start with Mythic Heroes, and you will add one tarot card.
Okay. That
All right?
sounds good. You have
Awesome.
to coach me on which signs, because I am not an
No
astrologist.
problem. No problem. Great. So the first sign, let's of course start with Aries. We're actually having a solar eclipse next Saturday in the sign of Aries. I think it's a very important time for all the Aries, sun, moon, and rising, right? So Lisa, let's pull a card from your deck and see
All
what's the message
right.
for our
All
Aries.
right. Let me grab my,
I'm
I'll
also gonna
show
have
you
a
my,
shuffle. Mm.
yes, I shuffled beforehand.
Mm.
And let me find, interesting. Where is my, I knew we were going to pull cards, and here I am not being ready. All right. Well, I'm just going to okay. Well, obviously, my primary guide does not want to pull tarot cards for us tonight. So I am going to, I usually have my primary guide, Morgan. I do a free weekly tarot reading on YouTube, and she
Yeah.
usually pulls our cards for us. So I was going to use her, but she is not handy. So instead, I will be using my pendulum for, this is actually my unicorn guide. So everyone is in for a treat. But basically, I try not to get my energy all over the cards when it's for someone else. So the pendulum just swings, and when the swing changes, that's our card. So for you Aries, ooh, lucky you Aries people, we got the Ace of Pentacles.
Beautiful.
And Pentacles, yeah, this is the element of Earth. So these are your health and money. These are material world. And the Ace is a brand new cycle. So you can see that the Pentacle is the seed. If you keep watering this idea idea, you are going to have a new income stream or a new health regimen or something like that, and it will grow. So that's a wonderful card for you Aries out there.
Beautiful. All right. Seems some kind of opportunity, yeah, for Aries. Yeah.
Yes, new one.
Wow,
Yes.
beautiful. The card that I've got is Orestes Justice from Mythic
Oh,
Heroes. Yeah.
nice.
Now with
Mm-hmm.
the now this card, I always associate this card also with the Justice card in tarot. I have a
Yes.
very strong feeling, my beautiful Aries audience, you probably will get a contract very soon. Something related to maybe your work, right? Maybe you're signing contract or have some kind of pact with a company, some kind of agreement. This is literally a contract that you're going to welcome. And with Lisa, that Ace of
Yes.
Pentacles, something is going to be offered to you. So look forward to that, Aries. Beautiful.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Who are
Now,
we pulling for next?
Taurus. Let's go to
Taurus.
Taurus. Yeah.
Oh, those strong and steady Taurus. All right.
Mm.
They usually get those Ace of Pentacles, but not tonight. No, Taurus, you are strong and steady and you are working too hard.
Oh, Ten of
So the
Wands. Yeah.
10 of Wands, 10 of Wands is always a burden card. You always
Yeah.
have somebody with carrying everything on their back. And the thing is, this card is usually Wands is fire and taking action. And the 10 of Wands is telling you that you have probably spread yourself too thin. So all you Taurus people, you guys are slow and steady and stubborn. So try really hard when you see this card to go, okay, I'm going to delegate some of these things because you do not have to carry it all alone. Someone will help you. You just need to ask.
That's beautiful advice, Lisa. It's very funny. The card that I have for Taurus is Sphinx transition.
Oh, there we go.
I think that's
Love
very
it.
interesting, right? So, Taurus, if you have been feeling very burdened, right, like what Lisa just mentioned, spreading yourself too thin, perhaps this is a time for you to make some adjustment and go through a little bit like a
Yes.
transitional period of time, and so that you'll be able to clear out, right, some of the unnecessary burdens you have. Sphinx energy, what I realize about this animal is a Sphinx usually represents a riddle that we have to solve, right? So sometimes this is a little bit like saying the transition that you will need to go through, there's still something that needs a little bit more investigation about. So be curious and keep, looking for new resources and information in front of you. Yeah.
Yes. Also, when you were saying that, it made me think too that because Sphinx is multi animals
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
it could be that you tourists out there could have other skills and things where maybe you could do it differently.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Oh, great advice. Yeah. Because, Taurus is a fixed earth sign, right? Sometimes,
mhm,
not being flexible is not really their best trait, but this is a period of
exactly.
time when they need to be a little bit more flexible. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. To lighten the load.
Yeah. All right. So Gemini or Geminis.
Gemini.
Hmm.
Okay, you Geminis out there. Who are we waking up with today? All right. Every Gemini I know is always like, who are you getting today?
Yeah.
Ooh, you're getting abundant. Okay, the King of
Wow.
Pentacles. So you
Beautiful.
can see he has this big pentacle here. And I always think of the King of Pentacles as the Santa Claus of a
Mm.
tarot deck. He is so abundant. No one leaves his table hungry. He takes care of everyone who needs him. Very Taurus energy. And you make whatever abundance you need to take care of everyone else.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, we're on Gemini.
Or
Gemini,
Gemini. Yeah. Yeah.
sorry, I was
Mm.
talking about Taurus, but
Mm.
Gemini, be sure that you lean into this because I know Gemini folks sometimes, you can lean into being nervous and
Yeah.
scarcity mindset. This card is telling you, no, lean into you are abundant, you are strong, and you are capable of caring for everyone who is depending on you. All right, you're the king.
Yeah, that's very dependable energy, right? Something you can really rely on. Yeah. The card
Yes.
I have for Gemini is this beautiful Pegasus, right?
Oh, beautiful.
I would just add one more thing, yeah, because I think Lisa, you explained this so well. For Geminis, I have a feeling that there's probably gonna be a King of Pentacles around you who will be able to offer you some kind of assistance anyway. But with this energy, it's just telling you that you have to be the one willing to be be willing to communicate. Let's say that. I mean, you're a Gemini, you're a master of communication anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are an mutable air sign, but this card tells you that the King of Pentacles will come to you to offer you the assistance if you feel that there's an extra help that you need to move forward, right, smoothly.
And know that when that happens, that you can also pay it forward.
100%, 100%.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
mm.
So reflect that King of
Then
Pentacles.
it goes, yeah,
You know, when someone comes and helps you, you pay it forward for the next
forward.
person.
Yeah, yeah. And then mutual abundance, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
All
next
right.
one, Cancer. Let's have a look for, yeah, our
Cancer. Oh,
Cancerians.
so many feelings, Cancer.
Mm,
Okay. All those feelings. All right. Ooh, Cancer, big transition for you. So the
the
death
death card.
card.
Mm,
And the death card in tarot gets a bad rap in movies and things because, you know, they make it a mortal death. That is not what this is about. This is about a transition into a whole new chapter. So
mm.
finish things up so that you can walk into this bright new day. It's waiting for you. And sometimes people will get this card when they are trying to live in two worlds instead of closing this one and stepping into that one. So if you are pulling this card a lot, it is usually because it's time to close one door. Don't try and have them all open. You know, close one so that you can step fully into your new technicolor chapter of your life. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
you guys have got it, Cancer. Don't be afraid. I know that sometimes Cancerian people that I work with are very emotional and they feel like they're going to lose something if they close a door, but you can't be fully in this world if you don't close it. So
Yeah. It's
there you go.
great. That's awesome. Um, so the card I have for Cancer is Atlanta Perfectionism, right? This card.
Oh, okay.
I want to, how do I describe this? So, you know, in myth, right, Atlanta was a very complicated female figure because when she was born, she was abandoned by her father, purely because her father wanted a boy. So through no fault of her own, she was abandoned. She didn't choose to be a girl. She was born that way. And you know, she had a lot of this kind of early childhood emotional trauma or wound, right? And I think this has a lot to do with, you know, Cancer's energy because Cancer is the energy of our past, our memories, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, our mother image and things like that. I feel for a lot of audience who are Cancerians, there could be some old wound that you still need to heal. And this card, Atlanta, the keyword is perfectionism. It tells you that sometimes maybe the reason why we're so hung up to that past and we can't let that go is because maybe we can't really accept the fact that it was the way it was. Because
Mm-hmm.
of this, either it's the perfectionism or the way we think how things must be. And I think with that death card that Lisa just put out, I think my beautiful Cancerians, what are you really ready to release? And by doing that, perhaps the real emotional fulfillment will be appear in front of you naturally anyway. Ah,
Yes,
mm,
yes. I love
yeah.
that. Very well said.
Right. So next one, we're going to Leo. Fire
Leo,
sign.
oh, that's me.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
So
let's pull the sun.
right, where is the sun?
With the
Yes, if
sun.
we
Yeah.
get the sun, I'll
Yeah.
die. Okay,
Yeah.
here we go. No, it is not the sun.
Oh,
Dang it. All my cards have been telling me meditate. And I'm like, okay, fine, fine. And here we
yeah.
go, the high priestess.
Oh, it's
So, all you
beautiful. Very
Leos out
beautiful.
there,
Yeah.
slow down and
Ah,
reconnect with the universe. The
mm,
universe and your spirit guides and angels want to tell you something. And I know as Leos, we tend to be out there and we're doing things and
yeah.
slow down just for a minute.
Ah.
And the universe is telling us to meditate. It has messages for us, but we have to be quiet in order to get them.
I
So,
really feel that card carries a lot of your energy. You,
right?
I mean, first of all, you're kind of like today, you know, purplish, you know, and that's the
Uh-huh,
color of
yeah,
High Priestess, right?
yeah.
Yeah, very
Yes.
like mystical, psychic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Right.
interesting. So the card I have for Leo is indecision. Okay, Paris. Yeah.
Oh,
I think this has a
and
lot to mm,
when you meditate, it
mm,
helps you make decisions, right?
correct, correct. Yeah. Um,
That's perfect.
you know, this indecision card with the High Priestess as a combination. I think this is a
Mm-hmm.
little bit like saying that sometimes Leo, don't get stuck in your own head. You have to really
Mm-hmm.
trust your intuition, just like what the High Priestess did,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the answer will come to you naturally,
I
and that
love that.
right? And that's not based on your rational analysis too much, but based on your higher truth. And that will be the right answer for Leos. Right?
Yes, trust that inner voice.
Inner voice, absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, Lisa, you have been doing that.
I try really hard, but I am human.
Yeah.
I have been getting that meditate
Getting
card a lot.
yeah. Oh, speaking of meditation, yeah. Oh, in Hong Kong, we have this studio that does a lot of sound healing. I find very
I
good.
love that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Actually, what area on the East Coast are you?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, Florida. Okay.
And and there are a lot of spiritual centers here that have singing bowls, which is wonderful. Yeah. You can just feel the resonating in your chest bone.
Yeah. Sometimes we have to force ourselves to shut down, right? That's
yes, our world's so busy.
All right, next one is a Virgo. Let's have a look for Virgos. Yeah.
All right, all you super organized perfectionist Virgos, here we go. I'm married to a Virgo, so I can say that.
Let's see.
I'm the sunshine and he works out the plan so that we can get all these things done.
Yeah.
Although Virgos, you may not feel like working out that plan. It's the Eight of Wands. I call this the procrastination card because you know what needs to be done. You are almost to the 10. You know the final steps, but you're tired. And so you sit here and you let excuses make you stay from running to the finish line. So whatever projects you're working on, Virgos, it's time to not let fear hold you back, because procrastination isn't laziness, it's fear. So give up the fear and get back in the race.
Very good. The card that I've just pulled out has even the similar color, right? We're having Penelope.
Oh, Faith. Yeah.
And I love this because you just mentioned procrastination is not about being lazy, but it's about fear. This card is about building having faith, right? And how perfect is for our Virgos.
No. Oh my gosh, I'm getting goosebumps because across the world we're getting the cards.
Correct, right? And even in the guidebook, or when I was writing this chapter, I said, faith is not the absence of fear, but our own ability to withstand it. And so, Virgo, I think this is about you building faith, right? With Penelope waiting for her husband, Odysseus, for 20 years. And they had a beautiful reunion, right? Not saying you need to wait for 20 years, but
right.
Have that positive faith.
It doesn't have to be literal, but and that thing about having faith and believing in yourself, you can get back up and do things you didn't think were possible,
Yeah. Also, I think, with the Eight of Wands, right? I feel that if Virgos, if you are waiting for some kind of messages coming to you, probably it's going to come to you soon. I would say, with this combination.
Yeah.
All right.
Love it.
So the next 6 sign will start from Libra, and I will pull first, right? And
okay.
All right. So next one, Libra. All right, let's have a look. Which archetype does Libra? Oh, Asclepius, talent. This card has a lot to do with your personal beliefs about what you're able to create, Libra. Libra is such a humble sign because, Libra is all about relationships, partnerships, harmony. I've rarely met people that have huge ego when their sun sign is in Libra, because Libra is about, okay, what I want, but I also care about what you want, right? And that's what relationship is. This card, talent, tells you that whatever you want to create, you already have the inner resources in you. You might have really concern about, okay, but if I do this, will this offend them? Or if I do this, will they feel jealous of me? Or is it too much, right? Sometimes this card just tells you that, first of all, you have to really ask yourself, is this something that you really desire? And if that's the case, then try not to be distracted by how other people feel about you.
I love that. And for Libras out there, my mom was a Libra. So funny, quick story. When I was in high school and you're a teenager and you're very emotional, and I would tell her problems at school and she would quickly go, well, they probably feel like this. And I'm like, no, can't you just take my side? But Libras are very balanced.
Always. You and me. Yeah.
Yes. But I love that you had the talent card. And we got the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups, Libras, is your inner child. What did you love when you were 10? What brought you joy? And I bet it's connected to your talent.
Mm.
So the universe is telling you to honor that inner child, have some fun. It is a-okay.
Yeah.
Especially Libras tend to, be so balanced that they forget to have fun.
Yeah.
But I think between that talent card and this page of cups, the universe is telling you, this Libras, it's your time to play. Go play,
Creative self-expression. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
True.
yes, for
So
sure.
so true. Yeah. All right, then we go to the profound Scorpio. All right, let's
Oh,
get one card
Scorpios.
for Scorpios. Let's get this one for Scorpio. Scorpio. Okay, so you got Sisyphus. Okay, and the keyword is burden. For our beautiful Scorpios, if you're watching this video, I do feel that there's something for you to actually delegate. Okay, perhaps you've been like a little bit like burned out from your work or some kind of mental things that you have always been carrying with you. Sisyphus image is about pushing a boulder up hills millions of times. I think with this energy, right? If you're watching this video, Scorpio, I think there's something for you to know how to release them and how to. Sometimes it's not just about stop doing them, to be honest, because someone will say, oh, but I have to do it, right? It's easy for you to say, just don't do it, but I have to. It's not just about stop doing it. I think it's about finding the right emotional support. And so you are not constantly being drained by pushing the boulder up hills. There are times when you need to take a rest. There are times when you realize that there are a lot of people on your side pushing the boulder together with you. And you will feel that, okay, life is not that hard. I'm not alone. And I can still, I still have the energy to keep pushing it. It's a little bit like that kind of energy, I think.
I love that. And this goes right along with your advice you were just giving them. We got the Page of Swords. So
Ah,
back to back, two young inner child energy. But swords is the element of air. So this represents our thoughts.
mm,
So to what you were saying about figure out, how people can help you, you're going to get an idea. And it could be an idea. You'll notice on her sword, there
mm.
are hot air balloons, dragons,
Mm,
butterflies,
yeah.
all this kind of thing. Think out of the box.
Mm, mm,
So tap into that curious inner child to come up
yeah.
with this idea because it's there for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Beautiful.
so nothing is out of bounds with those
Yeah.
ideas.
I always associate the Page of Sword with the it's a bit like curiosity or being inquisitive,
Mm-hmm.
right? Asking
Mm-hmm.
questions, right? So I think that a lot of this burden could be relieved, right? For
Yeah.
Scorpios if they are willing to communicate and ask questions. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Be curious, and those ideas are going to come to you.
Yeah. All right, next one. Oh, our favorite, right? Sagittarius, adventurous, freedom. Sag. Okay, what do we have for you, Sag? Okay, let's pull actually on this one. Ariadne. We just talked about Ariadne curiosity. Okay, so then we get this
Yeah.
card. Yeah. Ariadne, I find this energy very, very resourceful and helpful for our Sagittarius. Actually, I realized in my personal readings, let's say for the past 6 months, a lot of Sagittarius have been having a little bit difficult time because they're having a Saturn transit, right? Saturn transiting in Pisces with squaring Sagittarius. So this card is all talking about the kind of help that we can bring in by bringing out our curiosity. And because at the end of the day, Ariadne was the one who helped Theseus conquer the Minotaur. So there's a lot of kind of like assistance energy in there as well, right? Bringing in the help and the right community that we actually want, right? To feel a sense of belonging and also a safety in there.
Yes. Oh, I
Mm,
love that.
mm.
And also, Sagittarius has the bow, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Well, we got the world,
Oh,
and the
wow.
world, yeah,
Travel.
yeah, exactly. This is a powerful, the final card of the major arcana. And so it's often a card of completion, but when you actually manifest something, it opens the door to the next thing.
Mm,
So you Sagittarians out there, be sure that you know what it is you want. And that curiosity card is
mm.
begging you to figure it out, right? So
Beautiful.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe make some lists. Maybe it is someplace you want to travel to,
Mm,
or what do you want your world to look like? You
yeah.
can build it.
Yeah.
So set your aim that arrow, Sagittarians.
It's kind of cool actually because, right? So the world card actually is ruled by Saturn. in
Oh,
astrology.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so we
nice.
right, so we just talked about Saturn transit for a lot. I think, whatever difficulties, right? The Sagittarius are experiencing, I think whatever that thing that you have already overcome, it's a little bit like a step up for you guys, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yes.
I see the world card always as a little bit like a graduation. You completed
Mm-hmm.
something, but you're not going back to the beginning. You're going to the next
No.
level. It's a bit like that,
Yes.
right? So
Exactly. Yeah. Set your sights on what you want it to be next.
yeah, nice. All right, so Capricorn, all right, our hardworking, conscientious. Let's get one card for Capricorn. Here we go. Achilles, confidence. Capricorn. So at this time, I have a very strong feeling about Capricorn. Like you guys are so hardworking, you guys are so goal-oriented, right? But there's always some kind of vulnerability in the Capricorns that I know, right? Either this could be about you being so, right, hustle and bustle, right, out there doing your business, but when it comes to, for example, dating, then suddenly we shrink, right? We say like, oh, but I
Mhm.
don't know what to do, right? I'm not confident in meeting a guy or meeting a girl, whatever that is. This card tells you that notice what your vulnerability is and let's build confidence in that part. Sometimes Capricorn people, they can have such a facade, you know what I mean? Like I got it, right? I have everything together. Well, this is a time for us to build the confidence in the area that we feel weak.
I love that.
Yeah.
And for you Capricorns, it might be time to give up what no longer serves you.
Mm,
Because a lot of times, especially when you were mentioning that facade, a lot of times we gather things that we think make us have a bounty, but
yeah.
but the reality is they're weighing us down. So our little devil here has a bounty out of his garden, but every single one is a toxic plant.
Mm.
His eyes are already red and itchy, but he won't give them up. But we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
poison ivy and deadly nightshade and toadstools and yeah,
Mushrooms.
so, right,
Yeah.
yeah. So the reality is, Capricorns, be sure that you are watching where your energy goes, because sometimes we give our energy away to things that used to bring us joy
Yeah.
and they don't anymore.
100%. Yeah.
So, yeah, so be sure that you are consciously watching where you're putting your energy, because
Mm,
when this card comes up, it's not that you're in trouble or you've done anything wrong. It's that something that used to bring you joy is no longer serving you. So it's time
mm.
for it to go.
Yeah, 100%, right? Actually, in astrology, this card of devil rules is ruled by Capricorn. So I really think that when we pull this card for Capricorn, this is really like saying that you are right now in your element, like
Mm-hmm.
you're feeling this energy now, and right. That's I also associate the devil energy with fear, our inner
Yes.
fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is blocking us. So again, bringing this confidence back in breaking through that old pattern, right? So like what you said,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, because fear can be why you're holding on to it, even though
Yeah.
it doesn't serve you anymore.
Yeah. By
Let
the
it
way, I,
go.
I really love that image. The
Yeah,
devil,
thank
right?
you.
Yeah, I
Thank
love
you.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We tried to do different with the devil and the tower because I
Nice,
feel
nice.
like too many people associate, super bad things
Bad
with them,
things,
and they're
yeah.
not.
They're
And they're
not, yeah,
not, you
yeah.
know.
All right, next sign is Aquarius. All right, so let's get one
Hey,
card for
Aquarians,
Aquarius.
you guys are big thinkers.
So the
All
card we
right.
have for Aquarius, this one, okay? Aquarius. So the card is Medea and the keyword is revenge.
Ooh.
And I want to explain a little bit about what this card means. Yeah. What I realize about this energy is that, again, a revenge this card has a lot to do with unresolved issues. Sometimes this could be about, our anger towards someone. Sometimes this could be about we just feeling that I have to prove something even though that thing no longer matters.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's almost like it's because we ourselves cannot digest that within us, and that's why we feel this compelled need to prove it or to
Hmm.
to show it to someone and saying, ah, you see it? It's a little bit like that, right? So I feel like for Aquarius, or whatever the things that you're only able to digest in you, a feeling, a past event, I think this is a time for you to either let that go, release that, not just for your own sake, but once you can really release that, everyone else can also find peace. It's a little bit like that energy.
I like that.
Mm,
And this goes right along with that. So the Five of Wands, I call this the chaos card. Doesn't matter
mm.
what deck, you always have everyone is fighting everyone, everyone's going every which way.
Yeah.
And when you have a vengeful streak in you, you are wasting your energy. You are sending it out in a million directions that are not for your highest good.
Yeah.
When I do readings for people who are so worried about that someone else pays,
Mm,
the reality is sometimes things happen because the universe is course correcting you. And if
yeah.
you're busy putting your energy back there,
Mm,
you aren't moving forward. So when this Five of Wands comes up, the lesson of this card is go back to the beginning and figure out why you started this project. Why are you headed down that path?
yeah.
And it wasn't for revenge.
100%,
So,
100%. Yeah. And by the way, I read a tarot book probably a long time ago, and in the book, I forgot the name of the book, but it said that Five of Wands sometimes can also be associated with a sports game. Because it's a little bit like,
yeah.
right,
Mm-hmm.
five guys playing hockey or, lacrosse, something like that, right? So with this revenge card, maybe some of your Aquarius are actually doing some sports or competition and you want a revenge because maybe someone, right, beat you in the past, right? Good if it gives you motivation, but make sure don't take it personally.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't let it take your energy.
yeah. All right, so finally, coming to our beautiful Pisces. Beautiful
Yes. My
Pisces.
daughter is a
Oh,
Pisces.
beautiful. How old is she?
Yes. She is 30. Let's see, she's 34.
What?
34.
Really? Oh
Yes.
my God. Okay, Lisa, I thought like you were in your like early 40s or something.
Oh, well, thank you.
What's
No,
your
she's
daughter is
34.
34. Okay. All right, that's
But I was
amazing.
really young when I had her.
Oh, okay, okay,
I thought I
okay.
was a grown up.
All right, so Pisces, right? One last card for a beautiful Pisces. Okay, we'll pull this one. Medusa reflection.
Oh, nice.
All right, Pisces. This is I think this is the full moon card, right? That we're pulling. It's kind of interesting. We just had a full moon lunar eclipse about
Mm-hmm.
a week ago, 10 days ago. Medusa's energy is really about looking into the mirror. This is about looking at our reflection. I suddenly just remember the song, Reflection from Mulan. You know the song?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When will my reflection
Reflection
show who
show,
I
yeah,
am
such a
inside?
yeah.
Yes.
It's a little bit like that, right? It's a bit like Pisces. Perhaps this is a period of time for us to really look at our reflection and understand who we really are. Either because sometimes Medusa could be about certain things feeling like they're blocked in our lives, because Medusa is the gorgon that turns things into stone.
Right.
But the Gorgon was also conquered and destroyed actually by Perseus, who used the mirror, right? So that he didn't have to look at her directly in her eyes.
Right.
The mirror is really the magic here. And usually for people who pull this card, I always tell them, whatever thing that you feel difficult or you feel that is blocked, look into the mirror and you realize that actually you would gain a completely different perspective
Mm-hmm.
on that, right? And also, final thing I want to say about this energy is that whenever it's a full moon, because we have a full moon each month. So for our
Right.
beautiful Pisces, for all the full moons over the next, let's say, 34, 36 months, right? Remember, do some journaling on the full moon night. There will be some magic coming to you.
Oh, nice. And I know from raising a Piscean, they do tend to be really creative and intuitive, but
Yes.
also they can maneuver.
Mm.
Nothing blocks a Pisces. They maneuver, they find a different way. And this card, the
Knight of
Knight of
Sword.
Swords, yes, very Pisces energy there.
Yeah.
So, swords is again the element of air. This is your thoughts, but think of the knights like pages is young you, the knight is the teenager. They are impulsive, they are rushing in where others fear to tread.
Yeah.
And with swords, with air, it's your thoughts. So, Pisces, you are going to have a lot of great ideas. And what we're saying about journaling, it
Mm.
could really help you because you'll see the sign here. There's all kinds of arrows, all different
Mm.
directions. He doesn't know where he's going, but he's going
Yeah.
there really fast, right?
Yeah.
So, for all you Pisces out there, journal and make a list, make a plan because your ideas are good. They're
Yeah.
divinely authorized, but you need to maybe look in the mirror like you were talking about and figure out which ones are best aligning with me to
100%. Yeah.
try.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Pisces can sometimes, because they're good swimmers and they go from idea to idea, they never finish anything.
Yeah.
So don't do that, Pisces. Make a plan.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
also think that just in case, if you're watching this video, you're a Pisces, right? If you're planning a trip, right, going somewhere, probably your travel energy will also feel much smoother after Saturn leaves Pisces, which is going to be around this early summertime, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
if you're planning some kind of big trip, you want to go somewhere, after summertime, I think a lot of the blockage will be removed in front of you. Uh,
Nice.
Nice, right? Great. All the 12 zodiac signs. I hope our audience enjoyed it.
Yes, that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
great.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So I just want to wish everybody a beautiful solar eclipse next week, right? If I don't know if any of you guys do new moon journals. I do it actually every month. So I gotta show you this. This is already my seventh journal. I can't really show you what I
It's
wrote.
beautiful.
Yeah, but all these kind of things that I write, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I would highly recommend I always tell this to my clients when they come to me for a reading. Do your new moon journal because that's a new beginning. The moon is
Mm-hmm.
will set things again, right? Start from scratch and new cycles, right? So especially
Yeah.
this new moon in Aries, and Aries is really the first sign on the astrological wheel. New beginning, a new beginning. Huh?
Wow, very
Mm,
cool. And
mm,
I always do for new moon and full moon, I always do a tarot spread. And you can really get some insight and set some short term goals during the cycle. And especially for the full moon,
mm,
release, completion,
yeah.
gratitude, let it
Mm,
go.
yeah.
So, yeah, tarot cards can be fun for that too.
Nice, nice. I really want to. So later, I will put Lisa your YouTube channel and also your Instagram in the video description. So for our audience, if you like tarot, please go to check out Lisa's channel and give her a like. And look forward to more collaborations with you, Lisa, in the future.
Oh, yeah, that would be so fun. Thank you.
Yeah,
This was
thank
great.
you. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah. Everybody have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye.